It's the day. The day is here. The day is here that we finish season 2 of The Legend of Korra. This is episode 14. And I am keen for this because I've been really liking these last few episodes. I'm curious to see how they, gonna close it out. The season finale of season 1 was like incredible. Like, it was one of my favorite episodes of the Avatar series, like the Avatar universe so far, I think. Just because there's some crazy shit that happens in that episode. Like that's a really good episode. I still go back and relook at that episode every once in a while. But yeah, so I love that. I'm excited to see what they do with this season finale, especially since, you know, each season is kind of very enclosed. What's the word for that? Like standalone, I guess. You know, they're gonna do some wrap-ups, I assume, with the intention of, like, if the series ended here, at least there's somewhat, you know, you can figure out the rest or whatever, you know? Like, there's some sort of, like season 1 had, where they didn't set anything major up for season 2. They just sort of wrapped everything up, and it was like, if the series ended after season 1, you would have been like, okay, I can kind of assume that the rest of her time goes smoothly or something. Or that, you know, she comes up against some troubles or whatever, but nothing else majorly notable happened. Now season 2's come out, something majorly notable happened, and then by the end, you know, they could wrap it up with a nice little, well, and that's that, you know. The rest of Korra's life was nice and peaceful or whatever until they get confirmed for a season 3, and then they do that all again. So I'm excited to see how they wrap this up, and also I'm excited because that means next week we are getting started with season 3. And that, my gosh, my throat is not letting me speak properly. And that's really exciting because people have raved about season 3. And so I'm just so keen to get to that season. But I'm going to enjoy this season and the ending of it first. But if you are watching this on YouTube, you have a wonderful opportunity right now. You could go down to the description to my Patreon account and you could subscribe to it and get the first 4 episodes of season 3, my reaction to them on there right now. Right now, you can go. I'm not lying. Click on it. It's crazy. So go check that out. If you really love season 3, this is a good time to jump into my Patreon account because it's happening right now. So yeah. Anyway, we're going to jump into this episode. Thank you all for the support. Please continue to support these videos so other people can find them and other people can watch my Legend of Korra reactions and laugh and cry and enjoy all of those emotions with me. But I love your comments. Keep them coming. And let's jump into the final episode of Season 2 of The Legend of Korra. Here we go. Book 2 Spirits, Chapter 14, Light in the Dark. Is Jinora gonna be the light in the dark?
But I need to know what kind of enemy we're dealing with.
Oh my god. Oh, you're about to see what kind of enemy you're dealing with. Holy shit. Well, fire! I mean, I don't think anything's gonna work. Except some really good spirit bending. I wonder if Jinora could do that weird spirit bending thing with her air. Oh my god, that poor statue. Every villain hates that statue. Cool transition there from Aang to Korra. Thank god she's here.
Vaatu ripped Rava right out of me and destroyed her. Vaatu won.
No.
What the fuck?
I'm too young
what are we gonna do?
to live through 10,000 years of darkness.
When Vaatu destroyed Rava, he destroyed my connection to the past.
Yeah, I thought that's what happened.
If
Jesus.
True,
the cycle is over. I'm the last Avatar.
What the fuck?
I'm so sorry, Tenzin.
Oh my god. I mean, she's got to get it back, but how? Oh my god. You guys regretting not teaming up against Unalaq right now? Oh, we should stay out of it, actually. Fuck you. What the fuck? got these weird vine things. Oh my god! Well, he's gonna be able to escape. And climb down the vines too. That's convenient.
Julie, Operation Winged Freedom.
Oh no, they just have a hang glider with them. That's very funny. They just had a hang glider ready.
The other avatar, let go of your attachment to who you think you are.
Huh?
And connect with your inner spirit.
Haven't you heard anything I said?
Who you think you are,
Rava is
yeah.
gone.
I'm not talking about Rava. Rava is not who you are.
This is
me.
right.
I need to
She
show
does
you.
have a disconnect between who she thinks she should be and herself.
Why are you...
This is the Tree of Time.
Tree of
And
Time.
the legends say that its roots great cosmic energy of the universe.
Ah. So can you reconnect with the avatars through this?
Juan was just a regular person.
But he was brave and smart and always wanted to
Aw.
defend the helpless.
That's right. He became a legend because of who he was, not what he was.
Yeah, and she doesn't see this in
He wasn't
herself.
defined by Rava any more than you are.
And she defines herself by being an avatar. I love this.
But the energy within yourself,
You really think I can do this?
I have no doubt.
Aw, he's so great. And my pen just ran out of fucking ink.
Thank you for not giving...
You got this, Korra? I'm getting a backup pen.
Not exist without the other.
Find the light in the dark.
Okay, find the light in the dark. What are you gonna find? I'm sorry, I'm so far back. I got the pen. Oh, this is like what Aang saw. Oh my god. So this is her spirit. It's not even Rava, it's just her.
What did you say to her exactly?
Was that supposed to happen? Oh, here she comes.
Korra's back! And she's a blue giant!
Oh my god. Alright, I guess she can do that too. A beam struggle. Oh my god, she won that quick. I thought that was gonna go for a lot longer. Oh my god, hell yeah. Okay, alright. What's she doing?
Looking for something that is gone, and soon you will.
Wait, are you looking for the light in the dark? So he's the dark, you're looking for the light in him?
Korra!
That's such a cool shot. Oh, that's great. Woo! Oh no, he's doing the spirit bending stuff on her, but with dark spirit energy? Oh shit. Corrupting her spirit. Your spirit has to be unbendable. I like how there I just saw Bumi was just throwing rocks at people. Oh! Hey! You guys are helping. Thank you.
Eska! I love you! Mwah!
Aw.
Together!
You're so romantic.
Be the one true avatar.
Oh, we get some... Oh, Jinora! I knew she'd come in.
She's beautiful.
Aw.
Be careful, sweet!
Holy shit, she's like an angel.
No.
Oh my god.
Rava!
Oh, he accessed the light. I mean, she accessed the light within the darkness. She can get her back. Hell yeah. Oh, now she's doing it back. Yeah. No, I don't want to be good. Please don't make me do good things. just took off. Oh my god. Getting overrun.
I'll see you soon, Dad.
Oh, well, she's probably going back to the spirit world so she can return to her body. Yeah, there we go. Back in her body. Aww.
Korra saved the world.
Oh, you had a big part in that, Jinora. But yeah, it was mostly Korra. Look at that bitch. Hell yeah! Some cool fucking visuals. The way it comes off, it's like a literal eye-opening, you know? It's like an eye-opening moment for Korra, and then it's represented by the Earth's eye opening.
Avatar spirit. You were amazing.
And the way you turned all gigantic like that, wow! I just wish Varrick had been here to film it. It would have been the greatest mover ever. After...
I'm sorry about your father, but he was already fused with Vaatu.
Aw, I think they know.
Couldn't save him.
Impression we are saddened by our father's demise.
But I will not miss him at all. In the end, he became a deplorable man.
Damn. Respect, you two.
Explain this to Mother.
Okay, Desna can come too.
I will not be joining you, Bolin. Eternal darkness was upon us. I became caught up in the moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess I did too.
Maybe it wasn't meant to be, Bolin.
You will always hold a special place in the organ that pumps my blood.
I missed you, little buddy.
Aww.
I think that link is gone forever.
Oh.
I see.
Is that true?
Why don't you close the portals and we'll go home?
That might be true. But I don't know. At the end of season 1, we thought her bending was gone forever, and then it wasn't.
Shouldn't.
Huh?
What do you mean?
What if Avatar 1 made a mistake when he closed the portals?
Okay.
What if humans and spirits weren't meant to live apart? Well, what do you think I should do?
Wow, that's a pretty massive
I
decision.
think you should trust your instincts.
That would change so
There's
much.
nothing else I can teach you. I support you.
Maybe you're right. But that's kind of scary.
I broke up with you.
I remember.
Oh.
I thought you said you lost part of your memory.
I did, but being inside the Tree of Time brought it back.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm sorry for blowing up at you.
I didn't want to hurt you all over again. I guess part of me wanted to forget about the breakup too.
Well, tell her about Asami.
This over. For real this time.
Okay, alright. I'm happy with that. Don't kiss again, you might still be with Asami. But, yes. You should have told her about Asami, but...
I'll always love you, Korra.
And I'll always love you.
That's a very nice moment, regardless.
You want a hug?
Aw, he's a good brother.
Southern Tribe is now independent, and the Southern Council of Elders has appointed my father.
Hell yeah.
Our new chief.
That's awesome.
So that is why I've decided to keep the portals open.
Yep.
Spirits will be free to roam our world.
Interesting.
I will no longer be the bridge. Humans and spirits must learn to live together.
Interesting.
My mission, things will never be the same again. We are entering a new age.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay. That's season 2, and I've got some discussion to fucking do. I've got things to talk about. Now, this will either be like a really good discussion or it's going to be like absolute gibberish. So I apologize if it's the latter. I am hoping that it's going to be the former. So hang on, let me just hang on. Wait, which pen was it that just ran out of ink? What the fuck? I have 2 pens here and they both have ink, but one of them ran out of ink halfway through that recording. Oh my god. All right, whatever, doesn't matter. If they both have ink, it's fine. The reason I think this is going to be, you know, possibly, I might possibly say a bunch of gibberish is because so much of the themes and the story and all that sort of stuff that's happening here is very abstract. You know, it's built upon the rules that these creators have of their own universe and of how spirits work and such. And I don't have an extremely solid grasp of those rules. So when I'm talking about things that like I think could have happened or things that I think did happen, like, understand that I am speaking on a thematic sense. So like, it's not like this is exactly what I wanted to happen, but these are the themes that I think either came across or should have come across or whatever. Regardless, I really liked this episode. I really like all the decisions the creators made for this show, and I think they ultimately are correct decisions. So if I say like, oh, but it would have been cool if this happened, I'm saying that like as like an alternate, it would have also been cool if this happened. Not it wasn't cool and this is what would have made it cool. Anyway, so I guess the first note I have just says The Last Avatar, which like it, I guess she said that she didn't gain her connection with the previous avatars again, but she did connect with Rava again. So I feel like that means the avatar cycle will still continue. She just doesn't have the access to the previous avatars. Would that mean she doesn't have access to the avatar state anymore, because the avatar state is the accumulation of power from all the previous avatars, and she wouldn't be able to speak to their spirits? And what else would that change for her? I don't know. I guess those are the main two things: not being able to communicate with them and not being able to use the avatar state. Which, I mean, I guess is back to where we were in season 1, right? Like she was in season 1, she was struggling to communicate with Aang. Aang could only communicate to her through like visions, essentially. And she couldn't use the avatar state then, so I guess it just reverted her back to that state. But I like the idea of her at the start of this episode saying to Tenzin like, I'm the last avatar, which is a nice sort of contrast to Aang being the last airbender. You know, like they both had to deal, even though for Korra it was only for a moment, but they both had to deal with being the last of their kind. Or thinking at the very least that they were the last of their kind. With Aang, he went and had sex and made some new airbenders, so he wasn't the last airbender. He was just the last one at the time, but he went and made more. And with Korra, she got her connection to Rava back, so I assume there's going to be more avatars after this. And also, I have the meta knowledge of knowing that there's an Earthbender Avatar show in the works, which I imagine takes place in the future. For a couple of reasons. One, because that's the next element in the cycle, and two, because I think it would be kind of lame to go back, especially like I'm pretty sure like they didn't say it's a Kyoshi series, so you'd be going back like even further back, but like way back before Kyoshi, whoever the Earthbender was before that would be lame. So it's in the future. But yeah, so I think that was all very cool. So there was the discussion on Korra and her understanding of her inner self, and I like the idea that Tenzin gave the example of like Avatar 1, and he was just a normal guy before he fused with Rava, and Korra and he was still doing these great things, you know, and Korra looked at that and went, yeah, but he was brave and smart and like doing all of this great stuff. Like that's how she sees Avatar 1, and the implication of her saying that was, I'm not any of those things. She really thinks that the only reason that she is put in the position to help people, to save people, and to be important at all is because she's the Avatar. That's it. If she wasn't the Avatar, I think she thinks she would be an unremarkable person, which I don't believe is true. I think she is a remarkable person regardless of whether or not she's the Avatar. She just also happens to be an Avatar. So But it's really interesting to explore that side of Korra, and I love that this show does that. I love that these writers like write a character like that and understand this character, especially when the character like initially is shown to have a sort of flavor of arrogance to her, especially compared to Aang. You know, Aang is a pretty humble guy most of the time. I mean, when you start to inflate Aang's ego, he gets to be a little not so humble, but for the most part, Aang was a pretty humble guy. But Korra, we first meet her and she's not humble. Like at the very start of the series, like basically the first time we're hearing her talk, she's saying to her instructor like, hey, I've already nailed this firebending test or whatever, let's move on to the fucking next one, let's do it, you know, I'm a prodigy, I'm great. Like that's our first impressions of her. And yet now we're exploring her deeper and deeper and finding out like she is clinging to being the Avatar because she thinks that's all she has. So yeah, she's being like, yeah, I'm a prodigy, I'm great at firebending, because she doesn't see worth in herself other than that. And in this episode, that was taken away from her, and Tenzin basically sat her down and went, how about you look for the stuff that isn't that? How about you look inside yourself and find the stuff that's not the Avatar that's still great about yourself? And then they showed that by her actual spirit being the one to fight, you know, like with Unalaq, it had to be Unalaq's horrible, awful spirit merged with Vaatu, and that's why it was this big, massive, strong, horrible monster. But Korra's spirit, without Raava, Korra's spirit on her own was strong enough to defeat that, you know? With a little help from Jinora. But mostly on her own was strong enough to defeat that, and that shows how remarkable of a spirit Korra has. And I think that's a really good way to illustrate that, and thematically is really strong. Now, here is where I'm going to say something that I think could have happened and I think would have been kind of fun. And there's a couple ways you could go about this, but I think, like, she lost Raava, and Raava died. But then, you know, Jinora was able to, find the light in the darkness, and then that's what brought out the Raava within Vaatu, because they were saying that that light cannot exist without darkness and darkness cannot exist without light, so Raava has to be in there somewhere. Like, you can't fully get rid of Raava, so Raava is within the darkness somewhere. So it makes sense. Everything they set up beautifully makes sense. It all ties in perfectly. However, let's say that Raava herself does not need to be that light. Okay, let's say that Raava is a representation of that light and has been for a long fucking time, an eternity. However, in Raava's absence, we must find a new light. And that new light, I think, could have been Korra's spirit. And what I mean by that is, I think Korra, a cool thing that could have happened is they didn't find Raava again. And this, I think, would have been hard to illustrate properly. But they didn't find Raava again. They got rid of Vaatu and Unalaq, you know? Bam, poof, gone. And then Korra recombined with her own spirit. And now, the Avatar is no longer sort of powered by Raava, by its connection with Raava, but instead combined with its connection with two options here. A, the Avatar's spirit, which at this point has been so strong for so long that the Avatar spirit is its own thing separate from Raava and is now powerful enough to power all future Avatars. That's option one. Option two, if you want to make this more of a sort of insane story and make Korra more important, Korra's spirit. Like, Korra's spirit is that, has that much importance that Korra combines with Korra's spirit, and every future Avatar, Korra's spirit is the Raava of that future Avatar. That would be one way you would be making Korra to be like an even more important Avatar. You would be making her to be like a one of the, you know, greatest Avatars to ever exist, because her spirit would literally be living on within everyone else and powering them and stuff. But I think thematically, it would have been really interesting, because it would have driven home the idea of like Korra isn't defined by her being an avatar because she defines other avatars. You know what I mean? But they probably made a good decision not doing that, and I mean, like, you know, they might have not even come up with that in the writer's room, but they also, you know, the idea of bringing Rava back and having her do all that stuff and still having Korra's spirit be an important part of it, and still all works great. I just thought, like, in my mind, my mind went to that, and I thought it would have been a cool representation of how far Korra has come. But again, I think that's also hard to explain on screen. Like, it took me fucking stuttering through it and shit to even partially explain it, and I don't even know how many people watching this video and watching this part of the discussion understand what I mean by that. So who knows? But yeah, so I also am wondering, so does that mean Vaatu must be within Rava somewhere? Because you can't get rid of darkness or light completely. So Vaatu must be in there somewhere and will always be there. That's just how it is. But I imagine it's like, it's such a small piece now. Like, there's always darkness within everything. So you can't, like, that's not even really worth thinking about. Like, I could think like, well, that means Vaatu is going to come back as a villain later. But I don't think that's the case. Like, there's darkness in everyone. So it's understandable that we just accept that Vaatu's there somewhere, but it doesn't matter where he is. So, okay. 2 more things to talk about. What do I start with? My 2 topics are A, Korra and Mako, B, Spirit Portal. Choose now. Click on the screen. I'm kidding. Let's just go in order that I've got it written down. Korra and Mako. How many times have I written the note Korra and Mako in these episodes and had a discussion about these 2 fucking characters? The show won't let me stop talking about them and their relationship with one another. I feel like now, that final scene there, it seems like they've wrapped it. Like, that's it for the series. I don't imagine Korra and Mako to be having any more romantic relations other than the occasional one-night stand, let's be honest, for the rest of the series, okay? I imagine that they're done, so this may be the last time I talk about the 2 of them. Very nice moment at the end there for them, of them talking to one another, saying, "I'll always love you." Like, I think that is an important thing to say even to your friends. Like, that, I say I love you to my friends because love is a very important thing, and love doesn't have to be romantic. Love is just a very, very strong emotion. So if you feel very strongly for your friends, you love them. You do, you know? So I absolutely tell my friends that I love them, and I like that these 2 characters, even after they had a discussion that was like, we're not right for each other really, and this is it, they still both say I love you to each other, which is I don't know if it's a nice or a sad contrast to both Asami and Mako saying I care about you to each other in season 1. Like, in that moment, those 2 didn't say I love you to each other, but Korra and Mako do here. But that might actually also just be a sign of maturity. Like, Mako has actually matured a little bit, so that in a moment like that, when they're breaking up, he no longer says I care about you. He now is strong enough to say I love you. But that would mostly only work if he was doing it with Asami and said I love you to Asami when they were breaking up. Like, the parallel doesn't really work because he always loved Korra. But you know, I think they had a nice moment there. It's another moment. The same thing happened in season 1. Like, they're drawing parallels everywhere because the same fucking thing happened in season 1, where I'm sitting there in the finale and I'm like, this is a nice moment, but I wish we were talking about Asami. Why can Mako never say the words Asami out of his mouth? Why? She is the fucking rebound queen. Like, she is always on the back burner. He never thinks about her when she's not in his line of sight. I don't understand it. Like, as soon as she walks out of a room, he forgets her name. She doesn't exist to him. I love Asami so much, and I love Korra so much. We all know I've talked about how much I love Korra this entire time. I love Asami so much, and I feel like she is the most mistreated character in this entire show. Mako, say I kissed Asami while we were, you know, broken up or whatever. I had a thing going with Asami. Let's talk about this, because this is important, and that's one of the reasons I didn't tell you, is because it was fucking awkward, because you came up to me and you kissed me and Asami was standing right there. That's why it was awkward, because I had a connection with her in that time. Say that to Korra so that she knows, and so that Korra, because Korra, we know, apologizes for shit she does wrong, then Korra can go and apologize to Asami and say, hey, I'm sorry, I had amnesia, that's why I kissed the person you were kind of about to maybe start going out with, and I didn't mean to do that. And then Asami can say, I forgive you, because she's a wonderful person, and of course she would forgive her. It's Marco's fault. Everything's Marco's fault. He's a great guy. I truly think that. I think he's an intelligent dude for the most part. And I think he has a lot of difficult things going on. And I think his emotions are valid, and his like confusion with these relationships and stuff, I think they're all very valid. He just needs to learn to communicate much better than he does. Korra is getting better at communicating than him, and that is saying something, because she is not great at communicating with people. She grew up with fucking monks watching over her at all times and didn't speak to another human being other than someone who was teaching her how to make fire out of her hands. So I think Mako, who grew up with his brother in a city with millions of people or whatever, should probably learn how to communicate with a woman better than that. But that's just me. Anyway, that's the last time I'm talking about Korra and Mako, I think, ever. Like, I can't imagine we bring that back. So if you hate the part of the discussions where I talk about Korra and Mako, good news, it's fucking done. That was a fun discussion though. Final discussion. Jeez, this is gonna be a long video. If you like discussions, you're fucking feasting today. Spirit portal. So she opened the spirit portal, and the spirit portal is open. It's open. So, what does that mean? That means the spirits can roam through the material world, and the material people can roam through the spirit world. I like the idea of like, hey, this first Avatar, this guy that we watched for 2 episodes and stuff, like, he was a great guy. He did a lot of great things. He's the reason the Avatar exists, and he fought for the spirits, and he fought to make sure things were right. But he maybe made a mistake closing off the spirits and the normal world, because all it did was have these problems. You basically, I mean, yeah, there was a war between 2 types of creatures, and he said, okay, if you guys can't play nice, I'm putting a wall between you. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm gonna solve this. And what Korra is doing now is saying, we as a species have evolved enough that we should be able to live with these spirits, and if we can't, we need to work it out. But we're not gonna keep them separate anymore. And I respect that a lot. As a person who's seen a bunch of these spirits and how a lot of them resemble fucking bugs in some way or another, I would be terrified of this, because I would be like, hang on, so isn't there one of the spirits that eats faces? Is he just gonna be like walking around? You know, that's what I would be asking. I would be like, this guy takes faces of people who show emotion, and you're saying he can just come to us now? Like, he can just start roaming around in New York City, you know? But I guess that's fine. Korra's like, not my problem anymore. But I like how she's like, I shouldn't be the bridge anymore. Like, the Avatar should not be the person who decides what spirits do and what humans do. The Avatar should be the mediator, maybe. Like, I think, the Avatar should be as much of a mediator as she is just for humanity, but between humans and spirits. So, I respect it. I respect the decision. I wonder how that affects the series going forward, because now seasons 3 and 4, spirits can just be anywhere. There's a part of me that hopes that spirits don't play a major role in future seasons, just because as much as I liked this season, and as much as I think some of the spirit stuff in the show can be some of the coolest stuff, I also think some of the spirit stuff in the show can be a lot less interesting because there's less humanity to it, and I get connected to the humanity of stuff, as evidenced by me spending 20 minutes talking about a relationship between Mako and Korra. So I kind of hope that any stuff that happens in the future with spirits in it is more minor, but I do think they need to show the effects of how that's changed the world. And I imagine the start of season 3, we're probably going to play with that a bit, because that's going to be the freshest thing on their mind. I can't believe it. That was a long fucking discussion. I hope you enjoyed it. I truly do. If you watched to the end, if you watched to this point, amazing job. And I want to hear your thoughts in the comments if you did watch to this point. Like, if you're interested enough to listen to me talk about Korra up to this point, you've got to have some sort of insight on the show yourself. So let me know your insight on the show. Even if you agree with me, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I like people agreeing with me. It makes me feel good. Like, I'm gonna be honest about my own ego here. I like when I get comments that's like, I totally agree with what you said about this, because it's like, yeah, I feel like I did make a good point there. But even if you did, even if you have different thoughts, you can also nicely tell me about your different thoughts. Like, you can be like, I don't know about that. Here's what I think. I think Mako is actually the best human being in existence, and that Korra's in the wrong because she's a woman. And you can tell that because she has breasts, and you can, you go off on your little tangent, and I'll read it. I will. I'll sit there and I'll go through the entire thing. I'll read it, and you can just imagine me going like, oh, I got a comment, and reading your entire comment about why Korra is the devil. I'll do it. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a long one. My throat's starting to hurt, but I loved it. I had a great time, and next week we start season 3. Next fucking week. If you're on my Patreon account, maybe it'll be less than a week, because I can't wait. So maybe I'll record it sometime soon and post it on my Patreon account. But thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.